I'm that dude that'll do it again. Matt Pumps, welcome to the Pump Den. Today I got a challenge video. Found both of these bikes in the garbage. Thought it'd be fun to see if I can get one going just so I can head to the store with it. Let's take a closer look. So over here we have a old mongoose. I'm not too sure exactly what type of mongoose it is. There's a void sticker over here. Maybe that's just a brand name sticker. No idea. But when I wiggle the tires back and forth, I could definitely tell that there's an issue with the bearings. Maybe I can tighten them up and ride this puppy like brand new. Let's see. On the other hand, over here we have a Nishiki All-Terrain Series Colorado. Looks like an older mountain bike. It's actually in pretty decent shape. I think if there was a bike I was going to be able to take to the store, it'll be this one. It just needs a quick tune-up mostly. This one I actually found outside of the garbage, and it looks like they were just trying to get rid of it, so I grabbed that one. On the other hand, this one was inside of the dumpster, and maybe they figured that the bearings were too far gone or what have you, but I think I could get this one going as well. Stay tuned. So starting off with the Nishiki, I noticed that this head tube and handlebars were a little bit loose. I'm going to take that apart, clean it out, re-grease it, tighten it up, and throw some air in this bad boy. And I think, honestly, that's all this thing needs. Let's get to it. All right, so I'm going to pop these handlebars off quick and see what it looks like in there. Yeah, I can tell that they were really loose. Oh, looks like I got to disconnect this brake quick. There we go. Just gotta flip it around. Sometimes that's all it takes. Hopefully I didn't do too much damage to that brake cable. I think it'll be all good though. You know what? Oh, and now I just realized that there's a quick release. Wow. So we pull out the handlebars, and yeah, you can see it's super rusty here. Give you a closer look. Super rusty, probably no grease in there for ages. So we'll grease it up and we'll see how it does. Got some grease. There's, yeah, I was going to wipe out the old grease, but there's literally none left. So let's get some of that in there. Some of that on here. You don't want it to be without grease, otherwise it's going to be kind of noisy. And with one of these, it should tighten up decently enough anyway. Put her back in there. And give her a few cranks. And you're going to want to make sure it's the right size bit or Allen key, otherwise you might strip out the bolt and then it could be a nightmare. See if that'll do it. Yep, nice and tight. I'm going to put some air in the tires and we'll see how it does. Of course, I'm going to hook up this brake cable first too. Got the brakes all hooked up. A lot of people dislike these style brakes, and you know, I did at first too, but once you learn all the little adjustments right here, there's an adjustment here, adjustment here, adjustment here, I actually really enjoy these. They seem to work pretty killer. All right, let's get some air in there. tell that this tube is a little twisted, funny. Should still be able to fill it, but sometimes I hate when that happens. All right, I'm gonna take it for a spin, and I'll let you guys know the conclusion. So I put air in this bad boy. The Nishiki Colorado. It's actually a really nice bike. The tires hold air just fine. The brakes are amazing for being center pull. Comes with Sugino crankset. Never heard of it before, but it's actually pretty freaking sweet. Shimano shifters work great. Didn't even have to adjust those. Biggest downside, I think, is this aluminum seat post is literally seized into this steel frame. But other than that, I could ride this bike up to the store right now. Not much of a challenge video, but let's see what happens when I start looking at that mongoose. All right, so starting off, I'm going to show you guys what I was talking about with these rims. You hear all that noise, all that movement and play in there? Maybe they're just loose. Actually, matter of fact, that one probably was just loose. I just hand tightened it, no more noise. Let's check this one over here. This one is still making that noise, but these ones are tight, 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 tight. I think that the bearings in this rim here are starting to go bad. But other than that, like, it sounds good. It's all in working order. We got brakes. We got brakes that could use an adjustment, quick adjustment. Seats in decent shape. The frame's nice and thick and heavy. I mean, it's probably a really good bike for somebody who's not quite as heavy as me, but let's take that back wheel off and we'll see if I can tighten up that bearing or take it apart and re-grease it, see what I can do. Just gonna quickly take this back tire off. Yeah, somebody really tightened these down, so I'm guessing that there's definitely a problem with that bearing in this one for sure, but might as well check it out. Might as well find out, huh? Let's see if I can take off these brakes. Get a quick release. Yeah, but it's all mangled up. Now there is a quick release on this one, but yeah, and that gyro seems. See, this could definitely use a tune-up. This one is in worse shape than the other one. I can see why it was inside of the dumpster, but you know me, I'm pulling that bad boy out and I'm going to fix it. Or at least try to. There's no shot with me with that quick release, so looks like I'm taking it off. Best part about bikes is a lot of things, especially brakes, you can do with just a 10mm. At least on these older bikes. New bikes, who knows? Who the heck knows? So that's the brakes off. Pull this bad boy out. Yeah, you can, it's not that much play, but you can hear that. See if I can tighten it down. Yeah, you wouldn't believe it. I just hand tightened down the bearing and it, no more noise, no more noise. This bike might be better than I thought. Still might need to be rebuilt, this back thing, but as long as it ain't making that noise and I ain't riding it too hard, it's all that matters. So I slightly hand tighten that bearing, and you don't want to overdo it, you don't want to hork on it. I'm going to put the chain back on and put the tire back on and see what we're working with. Yeah, I think maybe somebody when they're taking the wheel off or putting the chain back on just accidentally let that bearing get a little bit loose, and that's all it takes, honestly. It's just slight, too much of an adjustment. But yeah, if I can get this bike working, I mean, I'm not going to keep it, probably won't keep that Nishiki either, but I could go to the store like the challenge was, and you know me, if you see my last videos, I'm always here to make a profit. You can't beat free bikes, can you? You're always going to be able to make some money on those. So yeah, no more noise. I'm going to actually tighten up this chain just a bit more. I'll show you a little trick that I used to do back in the day to get my chain nice and tight. Get yourself a nice bar, shove it in there, and then you can put pressure on it while you tighten up the nuts. That's a trick that my dad taught me. Tighten up these nuts, chain a little tighter, and hopefully they hold air. Because if these things hold the air, it's going to be good to go. Well, besides minor brake adjustment, as you saw. Feels like it's holding some air. Let's fill her up. Yeah, they're holding air. I don't know how much, but Kenda tires, max PSI, 65 PSI. Wow. These actually might be some nice tires. Yep, they're holding it. Let's get the front. I'm not as hopeful for the front tire to hold air, but I do have an extra 25-inch tube, and maybe I could patch this one too, save a couple bucks. Feels like it's holding air, dude. Can't believe they just throw this bike in the dumpster. All it took was a little bit of a tune-up, and you got yourself or your kid a new BMX bike to play around with. You know what I'm saying? Yep, holding air just fine. So we got some air in the tires. I'm gonna flip her back over and double check these brakes quick, and I could go to the store with 2 bikes today, free bikes. Sometimes you don't even need money to ride a bike. You get it for free if you're looking the right places. Put this brake back up. Yeah, to see this, brake cable is actually shredded. So I'm not going to have back brakes if I want to take this thing to the store. Here, I'll show you a closer look. Now, when your cable is that frayed, with hanging on by literally a thread, that brake's not going to be very safe. So I'll just take it off for now, and we'll put the front brakes on. There you have it, a working mongoose. Well, besides the brakes, I need a new cable for that, and the front brakes at least need to be lubed up, and then might be just fine as well. I could ride it to the store with no brakes. That'd be a true BMXer type thing to do, but I think I'll just take this one. I'm at Pumps, and there you have it. 2 perfectly good working bikes. This one I literally had to dig out of the dumpster. No idea why someone would throw away such a nice bike with a nice seat. I mean, worst comes to worst, it's a bunch of free parts, you know what I'm saying? On the other hand, this bike works perfectly. Brakes are amazing, parts are great, and I got a store to go to. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.